want to read this to you. It'll be the third time Jon Gruden has coached a team, started 6-3 and missed the playoffs. The 98 Raiders, the 2008 Bucks, the 2020 Raiders. I am not counting this team. It should be 4, but they started 6-4. Since the NFL expanded playoffs in 1990, there's been 140 teams that have started 6-3. No other coach in the NFL in that stretch 3 times has done that and missed the playoffs, except Gruden. Now, why do they keep getting bad at the end of seasons? Now, I could go with a bunch of hunches. You know, does Gruden's personality wear people out? That seems like kind of a reach, right? There's a lot of personalities that Nick Saban wears you out. His teams are good late. Belichick can be harsh. His teams are good late. Is it possible, or is it probable, that Gruden's an average coach and he's more media marketing maven than football genius? Listen, Chucky, best-selling team, TV star. Brian Billick and Gruden won a Super Bowl. They're both known as offensive guys, but their Super Bowl teams were about defense. One guy, without the big personality, Billick, never got another job. Jon gets a 10-year deal. Why? Because he used television to leverage himself into another job. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but we've always elevated him to kind of a level that, why do his teams get bad late? Let me ask you this. Is that every boss I've ever had, the more I'm around him, the better I get. Bill Belichick is the best late season coach in the NFL. I could argue Sean Payton is second. Why? Because the longer Belichick teaches and mentors young men, the better they get. That makes sense, right? The longer Sean Payton, who struggles like Belichick in September, the longer Sean Payton has his team, he's a great coach, a great boss, the better they get. It makes sense. Every boss I've ever had, the more I'm with him, the better I get. With Gruden, the more he barks and teaches, the worse his teams get. Maybe he's just an average coach who's got great media. We know the media can sway and alter and bend narratives. But in September, Gruden wins 57% of his games. You know what he wins in December? 38% of his games. It's not supposed to go this way. He says, if you look at Gruden's career, he's slightly above 500. His last playoff win was 18 years ago. The last 2 playoff games he was in, wild card games, he lost. I mean, he took a Super Bowl roster, tweaked the offense, and won. Does that make him a genius? He had a best-selling book. He's absolutely wonderful on TV. He's great. The quarterback camp is great. Monday Night Football has never felt the same. No shot at anybody. It just doesn't feel as good. We see the media do this all the time. They play favorites. The media likes people who are verbal and talk. The media loves Daryl Morey of the Houston Rockets because he talks and he makes our job easy. Gruden makes our job easy. He's got great quotes. He's likable. He's got a bunch of media friends. You know, is it possible he's just an average coach? It's just what he is. That's what the numbers say. Not everybody that's won a Super Bowl is a genius. Brian Billick, another offensive genius, won a Super Bowl. Why didn't he get second and third chances? Because he didn't leverage his TV personality into another job. If your teams consistently get worse, the more the players are around you, how in the world could I call that a great coach? That's not the way it was with Don Coryell or Andy Reid or Sean Payton or Bill Belichick. The more you get of them, the better you are. Here's Gruden after.
I have a one-track mind, and that involves winning. And this is going to help us in some ways, but it's really, really painful right now to lose. And we've had a lot of tight games go down to the buzzer, and this one was tough. You got to win these tight games, and oftentimes that's a reflection on the head coach.
I'm not saying he's a terrible coach. He won a Super Bowl, but I see this a lot, and it's ridiculous to deny this. The media, they've done studies on it. More media people, lean left than right. There can be a Fox News, but that's a fact. And here's the second thing that's true about the media, because I've been in it 30 years. They like people who make their job easier. I'm as guilty as anybody. I go to the talkers. Gruden's just big and funny and great in the mic and says things, and he's kind of available, and his teams get worse the more they're around him. That doesn't sound like a great coach to me. Coming up next, the Saints were just tricking us. Little gamesmanship by the Saints this week. Blazing 5, top of next hour. This year might look a little different. You know that, but that doesn't mean you can't celebrate. Grandma, mother-in-law, the certain people that can't be around the kids this Christmas because of COVID. They can't get on a plane. They can't travel. We understand what's going on. But you still want to connect with people. Make them feel special. Make them know you are thinking about them, and that's where 1-800-Flowers comes in. Right now, you order 12 peppermint roses from 1-800-Flowers. They'll give you an additional half dozen and a vase absolutely free. Now, this offer ends today. To order 12 peppermint roses, another 6 free, vase free. Look great, by the way.